Lena Morris wasn't the kind of person who disappeared. At 27, she lived a quiet life in South Austin, deadlines, playlists, coffee mugs filled with markers. Friends called her the steady one. She didn't miss appointments, didn't flake on plans, and never left a message half-finished. That's why the voicemail that arrived on her friend's phone at 10:42 p.m. on March 2nd felt like a glitch in reality. It started normally, the hum of a car engine, her breath steady. Then, "Hey, I'm almost home, can you?" A pause, a short, confused sound, like the phone brushing against fabric. And then, 5 full seconds of silence before the line went dead. At first, no one thought much of it. Lena worked long hours. Maybe her battery died. Maybe she'd fallen asleep on the couch after a late-night drive. But by the next morning, her car, a white 2019 Honda Civic, still hadn't pulled into her apartment lot on Riverside Drive. Her front door was locked. Her keys and purse were gone. Her cat Pixel was starving. When police opened a missing person file, they started with the usual questions. Was she seeing anyone? Did she owe anyone money? Had she ever mentioned wanting to leave Austin? Her best friend, Aaron, answered each one with an exhausted no. Detectives soon learned Lena's last known location, a small coffee house parking lot near Barton Springs. Caught by a security camera at 10:37 p.m., she looked calm. She ordered a chai latte, waved at the barista, then climbed into her car and drove east. The drive to her apartment should have taken 12 minutes. She never made it. When Detective Marcus Lane joined the case, the voicemail was already circulating on local Reddit threads. People debated every sound. Was there a faint voice in the background? A metallic clang? One armchair detective slowed the audio to 0.25 speed and claimed to hear someone whisper, "Wait." The Austin PD's digital forensics unit ran spectrogram analysis. They found nothing definitive, only a brief drop in ambient noise, as if the phone had entered a tunnel or been muffled inside a bag. Except there were no tunnels on that route. Marcus met Aaron in Lena's apartment 3 days later. The space felt suspended in time, an unfinished poster on the desk, half-printed client logos scattered near the monitor. Her laptop had been left open to a project titled Home Glow. Marcus clicked play on the attached video. Soft ambient music, a minimalistic animation of a house glowing brighter with each frame. The final frame was black, but the metadata said the file had been modified at 10:43 p.m., 1 minute after her voicemail ended. "How is that possible?" Aaron whispered. Marcus didn't answer. By the end of the first week, Lena's case made local headlines. Graphic designer missing after mysterious voicemail. News anchors replayed her last words on loop, their voices lowering at the silent pause, as if silence itself held meaning. Tips flooded in: sightings in Dallas, a woman who looked like her in San Antonio, a driver who claimed he'd seen a stalled white car off the highway. Each lead fizzled. Then on the 9th day, her car was found, parked neatly behind an abandoned gas station in Driftwood, 20 miles southwest of Austin. No signs of struggle, no fingerprints except her own. The chai latte cup sat in the cup holder, still sealed with its cardboard sleeve. And on the passenger seat lay her phone, dead, face down with one unsent draft message. To Aaron, "Someone's following." The rest was blank. Detective Lane drove back to headquarters with the phone sealed in a plastic bag. He'd worked missing person cases before, but this one unnerved him. Lena's digital trail didn't vanish. It rewound. Cloud backups disappeared from Google Drive, but older deleted files reappeared. Her emails reshuffled, timestamps out of order. It was as if someone was rewriting her online life. The tech unit initially blamed data corruption. Then they realized the anomalies all pointed to one IP address. Belonging to a marketing firm Lena had freelanced for 6 months earlier, Vireo Creative. Marcus visited Vireo's downtown office the next day. Modern space, glass walls, a neon sign reading "Design the Future." The manager, a man named Josh Creel, greeted him with an uneasy smile. "Yes, Lena did some freelance campaigns for us," Josh said, tapping his pen nervously. "Mostly product branding for a client called Rhinex Labs." "Rhinex Labs," Marcus repeated. "They do AI software, right?" Josh hesitated. "Sort of, behavioral analytics, data modeling." "And you're saying she stopped working for you when?" "Mid-January. Said the project gave her bad dreams." "Bad dreams?" Josh shrugged. "Her words, not mine." Later that evening, Marcus drove home replaying the voicemail again. The silence gnawed at him. He boosted the waveform in Audacity and filtered out background frequencies. For the first time, he noticed something new, a faint, rhythmic clicking under the silence. spaced exactly half a second apart. He compared it to local traffic noises, engine patterns, even Lena's own heartbeat from her smartwatch data. Nothing matched, until a technician from the cyber unit noticed the pattern aligned perfectly with keyboard strokes. Someone had been typing while Lena's phone recorded. By week 3, the media pressure exploded. Hashtags like #FindLena and #the voicemail flooded TikTok. Amateur sleuths mapped her route on Google Earth. One creator even recreated the entire drive at night, narrating eerie coincidences, the same traffic lights, the same gas station, the same darkness swallowing the road. Erin couldn't sleep. She replayed that voicemail until her phone battery died, trying to make sense of the pause. Sometimes she swore she heard Lena whisper something at the end. Other nights it just sounded like wind. Then one morning, a package arrived at her apartment with no return label. Inside was a small USB stick and a sticky note that read, "Play me, don't tell the police." She hesitated but plugged it in. The drive contained a single folder named Echoes. Inside were dozens of video files, recordings of Lena working late at night, from angles Erin didn't recognize. The timestamp on the first clip was February 25th. Someone had been watching her. Detectives rushed to retrieve the USB. But by the time they arrived, Erin's laptop had crashed, total data wipe. Forensics found microscopic residue, suggesting the drive had a built-in self-erase trigger once unplugged. Still, Marcus managed to recover one frame from the crashed dump, a blurry image of Lena sitting at her desk, her reflection faintly visible on her computer screen. Behind her stood a tall figure in a hoodie, barely discernible. The figure was facing the camera. As the days passed, Marcus's obsession deepened. He slept at his desk, replayed every lead, and visited the stretch of highway between Barton Springs and Riverside Drive every night at the same hour. He began to notice strange things. A white sedan parked at random intervals, the same license plate showing up in traffic cams near Lena's last route. He ran the plate, registered to Rhinex Labs. When he called the company, no one answered. When he visited the address listed online, it led to an empty warehouse with dust-covered servers humming faintly in the dark. Meanwhile, online theories turned wild. Some said Lena had staged her disappearance. Others believed she'd been recruited by Rhinex Labs for a secret project. But the one theory that stuck came from a Redditor claiming to work in digital acoustics. That silence in the voicemail isn't empty. It's inverted audio, data embedded through phase cancellation. Someone hid a message in it. The claim sounded absurd, but Marcus sent the clip to the FBI's digital division. A week later, they called back. "There's definitely a hidden layer." The analyst said, "Encrypted looks like coordinates." The coordinates pointed to the edge of the Balcones Canyonlands Preserve, a vast forested area northwest of Austin. At dawn, Marcus and his team combed the woods with drones and dogs. The silence of the trees felt heavier than the voicemail itself. Then near a dry creek bed, they found it. Fragments of a smashed laptop, a pair of prescription glasses, and a sketchbook soaked from rain. The sketchbook's pages contained logos and abstract shapes. But the last page was different, a hand-drawn map labeled Home. The X mark sat exactly where they were standing. By that night, Marcus sat in his car, staring at the evidence bag containing the sketchbook. Home Glow, the last project Lena had worked on, flashed in his mind, a glowing house animation ending in darkness. What if the design wasn't just a project? What if it was a message? He called the tech unit and asked them to restore the final frame from her animation. It took hours. When the image finally rendered, everyone went silent. It wasn't black, it was a photo, dim and grainy, showing the same stretch of forest they'd searched that morning. And standing in the center was Lena, facing the camera, eyes wide, mouth open as if mid-sentence. The file metadata said it had been uploaded 1 hour ago. Marcus stared at the timestamp, realizing the impossible truth. Someone or something was still using Lena's account, and she might not be the only one missing. Detective Marcus Lane sat in the quiet of his apartment, staring at the glowing screen of his laptop. The grainy image of Lena standing in the forest had been uploaded an hour ago, long after she had disappeared. The timestamp alone made no sense. The file wasn't stored on her computer, nor any device known to the investigators. The hum of the ceiling fan mixed with the steady ticking of the wall clock, creating a rhythm that matched Marcus's racing thoughts. Whoever had sent the file knew he was watching. Whoever had access to Lena's accounts could see him, track him, and manipulate every step he took. Marcus leaned back and closed his eyes for a moment, trying to remember the last time he'd felt safe. But the memory felt distant, irrelevant. Lena's disappearance wasn't just a missing person case anymore. It was a warning. By the next morning, Marcus returned to the Balcones Canyonlands Preserve with a small team of officers and tech specialists. The fragments of Lena's laptop and the sketchbook were bagged evidence. But something about the forest itself had changed. The mist that had rolled in overnight clung to the low shrubs, twisting light into strange patterns. Marcus followed the hand-drawn map from the sketchbook. Each X and line seemed to correspond to actual landmarks: a bend in the dry creek, a cluster of live oaks, a faint trail previously unnoticed. The further he walked, the more he felt as if someone had been guiding him, leaving markers just out of sight. Then they found it, a small clearing littered with burnt-out electronics, broken tablets, cracked phones, wires twisted and melted. In the center lay a device that Marcus had never seen before, a black, rectangular box with a single blinking light. A small engraving read, "Echo Mind." The tech specialists examined it carefully. One, a young woman named Jenna, tapped the side of the box and watched the blinking pattern change. "It's recording," she whispered, "or tracking, maybe both." Marcus frowned. "Whoever has this. It's not just about Lena, it's about control, surveillance." They took the device back to headquarters for a full analysis, but even there, it resisted their efforts. Password-protected layers were built into layers, encrypted algorithms that seemed almost intelligent in design. No hacker had ever built anything like this. Marcus realized something terrifying. Lena hadn't just vanished. She was being watched, monitored, and manipulated. Meanwhile, online chatter reached a fever pitch. The hashtag #FindLena had millions of impressions. TikTok videos recreated her last drive. Reddit threads plotted every street corner. And conspiracy forums debated whether Echo Mind was a corporate tool or something far more sinister. Some users claimed the device could manipulate physical environments, suggesting Lena's disappearance might have been orchestrated with technology beyond normal understanding. Marcus ignored the speculation. He couldn't afford distractions, but even he had to admit, the forest clearing, the device, the uploaded image, none of it fit any conventional logic. Days later, a breakthrough arrived from the Austin PD Cyber Division. The Echo Mind device had transmitted a signal, faint but identifiable, from a remote industrial park outside the city. The coordinates were precise. Marcus and a small tactical team prepared to move in. They approached the abandoned facility cautiously. The building was massive, a gray warehouse with faded lettering and broken windows. Inside, the air smelled of dust and chemicals. Light flickered along cracked walls, reflecting off metallic surfaces. They found Lena's desk, or what had been her desk. A makeshift command center had replaced it, filled with monitors showing feeds from cameras scattered throughout Austin. And on one of the screens, Lena, alive, standing in a dark room, facing a hooded figure. Her expression was calm but tense, as if she had been here before or knew exactly what would happen next. Marcus stepped closer to the monitors. The hooded figure reached out, pressing a finger against a digital interface. Lena flinched slightly, then the screen went black. A soft sound emerged, a voice. Lena's own, coming from the speakers. "I told you I'm still here, but you're too late." The monitors flickered back to life, now displaying Marcus's own office, his files, his laptop, even him sitting at his desk. Someone was watching him. Back at the station, Marcus reviewed the footage repeatedly. Every time he paused, Lena's eyes seemed to look directly at him. He called in reinforcements, a SWAT team ready to storm the industrial park. But every plan ran into obstacles. Security systems seemed to anticipate their movements. Doors locked and unlocked seemingly on their own. Lights went out at critical moments. It wasn't just a missing person case anymore. It was a trap. That night, Marcus received an anonymous message on his phone. "If you want her back, follow the rules. Don't involve anyone else. One wrong move and she disappears permanently." The message included a video attachment. He played it. Lena was in a small, windowless room, sitting on a metal chair. She was unharmed, but her eyes darted constantly, tracking something outside the camera's frame. The room was sterile, almost clinical, with only a single door visible. Then Lena spoke, her voice trembling. "Marcus, they're not just watching. They're rewriting things. What you